What's up? What's up? What's up, my financially intentional people? I'm super juiced to be having Cody Berman joining us today. And if you don't know about Cody, you should know about him because he is a GOAT in the financial independence space. Because, namely, he started at about 10 on his path to financial independence, but he has done a lot in this space. And I'll just let him tell you. But anyway, what's up, Cody? How are you?
Doing good. How are you? It's been far too long. It's always good, whether it's behind a camera or not, or whether it's in person at FinCon. It's always good to see you, Nasima.
I know. Good
But
hanging out with you.
where do you want me to start this? Do you want me to start this at financial independence when I learned about it at 19? Do you actually want me to go back to when I was 10? Just let me know where to start, and I'll take it
I
from
think,
here.
yeah, I think going back to 10 will kind of give, people an idea of just how your mindset works and how you just have been in this space for so long, just because, I'm sure you've had some influences that have helped you, but you can share that as well.
So actually going back to before I was 10, so just growing up, my parents were savers. They weren't into financial independence. They didn't know much about investing, but they had always told me to save as much as I possibly can. So if I was getting birthday money or money from Santa or whatever money I could get my hands on, pre-10, they were like, make sure you save as much as you possibly can because you never know when you're going to need money. So I kind of always stuck with that mindset. At age 10, though, is when I first got my first side hustle. So I guess that's the kind of the beginning of my financial journey, per se. I was working in the snack shack at my uncle's disc golf shop. For people who don't know what that is, disc golf is like ball golf, except instead of hitting a ball into a hole with a club, you're throwing a plastic disc into a pin or into the chains. And so I was making $5 an hour. I was putting in a couple shifts a week with my brother, and that $20 was going straight in my bank account, and I wasn't touching it. And that kind of persisted all throughout. As I get better and better jobs, it wasn't always the $5 an hour at the snack shack. I started working in retail jobs. I got like waiter jobs. Later on, I started doing some online side hustles, but like all the way from middle school through the end of high school into college, like I was saving 90+% of my income. I just didn't spend on like those extra things that I didn't need. Like I was getting clothes at Savers. I was like asking for a specific video game for Christmas instead of like going out and buying 10 of them like my friends might be doing. So that kind of carried with me all throughout high school and all throughout those early ages as I was side hustling.
Yeah. And then I know before adulthood, and I should mention, Cody reached financial independence at 25. But I know it was because of the influence of your mom. She kind of introduced you to this space. Like, how did that come about?
So that's like right after I'll just pick off right where I left. So graduate high school, 18, 19. This is actually the summer going into my sophomore year of college. My mom had sent me over the article, and two things happened at once. She sent me over an article by Mr. Money Mustache. It was the shockingly simple math to early retirement. And I was like, what? Like people can retire in their 20s and their 30s. Like it's just a math equation. I thought everyone had to work till 65, like everyone tells you, but that's not the case at all. So she sends me that article, and she also has me read the 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And those two kind of pieces of information just kind of started like commingling in my mind. And I realized that like we're going to talk about this a lot today with the side hustle stuff, especially with the 4-Hour Workweek. There's a lot of side hustles, a lot of businesses where you kind of front load the work, you front load the time, you front load the energy, and then you can reap the rewards of that labor later on. So it's not like a 1-for-1 trade. It's not like there's a lot of side hustles where you only get paid based on the amount of time that you're doing it, like driving for Uber, or there's even, some freelancing. Like you're getting paid based on the number of hours you worked. But Tim Ferriss from the 4-Hour Workweek taught me that like there were some other options out there where you could build something, you could buy something, you could create something that then will pay you later. And then, mixed with the Mr. Money Mustache stuff, I'm like, if I can create a money building machine and then understand the personal finance, like the spending side of the equation, I can retire hella early. And so that was my goal.
I love that. And I'm actually going to link to those two things in the show notes because those are excellent resources. The 4-Hour Workweek is an amazing read. It's old, actually. It's pretty old.
07, I think.
Yeah, but it's still really relevant. And I think there's a little bit of an update in it that he did recently. or not so recently. And then that mathing propensity mustache is like one of the classic articles that I actually read too in the beginning of my journey into financial independence. And it just puts everything in perspective. And just like you, it was like this kind of aha moment where I was just like, wait a minute, what do you mean? Like, you don't have to work into traditional retirement age. And I wish I would have discovered it at 19, but I was well in my 30s and well into my second career, actually, at that time when I discovered it. But I think like that's what made it easy for you, or not easy, but that's what made it like an option for you to even reach early retirement in your 20s, because you understood the math, you understood what it took, and like the numbers behind like reaching financial independence. So did you finish college and get your degree and get a job in your career that you worked so hard to earn a degree in?
Yeah. So at the time, like throughout college, I was side hustling, I was building businesses, but I never had like, I wasn't one of those people that like had the $100,000 business while I'm in college. I was probably realistically making like $1,200 to $1,500 a month for my side hustles, which, you know, it's nothing to scoff at. Like it's a decent amount of money, especially for a college kid. Like it allowed me to graduate without student loan debt. It allowed me to like kind of do the things I wanted to do and pay for my housing and all that cool stuff. But it wasn't enough where I'm like, you know what, screw college, I'm going to leave. So I did end up, you know, getting internships. I went down the road of getting a traditional job, and I ended up, once I graduated, in commercial real estate lending. Now, this is when things kind of turned for me. Did not last too long in that career. I actually only stayed in that job for 7 months, and I was still building up those side hustles. And at that point, you know, I was making a ton of money for my corporate job. Like, quite frankly, you know, personal finance, well, not personal finance, but just finance pays a lot. I was working in Boston. I was working in the city, but I was being super frugal, still driving the same car. I was sharing a room. I was being really cheap with groceries, not going out very much. You know, I wouldn't go out to the bar and buy drinks. I'd like pregame, like all these things to save money, but still have fun at the same time. And so I was able to accumulate like $35,000 in 7 months, because I was literally just living off my side hustle income, saving everything from my signing bonus and on my salary and all that stuff. So, you know, depending who's listening, that might sound like a lot. It might sound like a little, but to me, I was like, I'm spending $1,200 a month ish. I just saved up $35,000. Like that is almost 3 years of entrepreneurial freedom to go and try something else. Like I had that money. It was a nice safety net sitting in the bank. So I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to go for this entrepreneurship thing. And I jumped ship 7 months in.
Well, let me just tell you something. To save $35,000 in that short amount of time in your early 20s is like unheard of. So even if for some people, like I think like you're thinking like in the whole scheme of things, like in the financial independence community, where you're just like, oh, well, we saved $2 million. But that's over like a span of like years and years and years. But in your early 20s, in your first job, you were able to accomplish that. That is an amazing feat. So I want to give you your props on that. So you ended up quitting at 7 months, and then what did you do?
So kind of through a whirlwind of events, and we talked about FinCon briefly earlier and just personal finance. Yeah, getting together with other personal finance content creators. I actually went on a book tour with another friend of ours, Grant Sabatier. He wrote a book called Financial Freedom. I met this guy at FinCon 2018, and then he's like, hey, want to help me with my book tour? And long story short, end up managing and organizing this guy's book tour, 33 states, 16,000 miles around the country. And I ended up living with him like in a van, basically traveling the country, going to all these different personal finance events. And, you know, I'm still doing my side hustle. So we would have time where we just like go to Starbucks or whatever in between events or the hotel or wherever. And that was kind of the next chapter. So I literally went from going to work every day. I had a 2-hour commute each way. I was miserable in my job. I was like looking at my boss. He hated his family hated him. My coworkers weren't going anywhere. They weren't excited, to traveling the country with this guy I just met in a van. And it sounds like the craziest, dumbest decision ever, but it ended up being one of the best, because what it did, like, and, you know, Grant didn't pay me like $1 million to go with him or anything, but he was already like financially independent. But what he taught me was just like, there were so many things that I didn't understand about money and life and networking. And I feel like so many of the self-imposed glass ceilings that I put on myself about what was possible with business and side hustling and Grant just like, he helped me, you know, raise the roof and shattered all those glass ceilings. So that was huge and super instrumental for me, was like that book tour. And obviously not everybody's going to have the chance to go on a book tour with an author and meet someone at a financial event, but it was just like, I think a lot of this story as we go through this podcast is going to be just like, I'm not afraid to take chances. Like I don't care if I fail. I've had many businesses I've shut down. I've definitely fell flat on my face before, but like it's the risks that have really paid off for me, that have allowed me to, do something like hit financial independence at 25.
And I just think that, first of all, I actually remember, so I've been knowing Cody for years and years. So I remember this like transition between like you quitting your job and then you like becoming really, really involved, more like the FinCon space, and even hosting your own FinCon event, and then doing this book tour with Grant Sabatier. And that book that Grant Sabatier wrote is a phenomenal book about financial independence. So I'm actually going to put that in the show notes as well, because I think it's a great resource. But I think that like that was an excellent opportunity, because it was like a crash course in what's possible outside of like all the things that we're told by society we're supposed to do. And again, the fact that you got it so early when you had, so little liabilities and all these things, set you on a course to really be able to define your life according to how, you really wanted to live. And I love following your story. And I love just hearing about your journey of, all your businesses, all your side hustles, all the things that you're willing to do. And not everything is successful, but I don't think that a lot of people need to understand everything doesn't work out fine, but you do it anyway, because win, lose, fail, whatever you want to call it, you're going to get lessons. And the lessons that you got were compounded, and they were exponentially faster even than you getting university degrees, because you were able to put yourselves you were able to put yourself in a position where you were just open to learning and growing. So now you like, I mean, I just watch you like travel the world. You run these businesses from wherever you're at, you're location independent. You have a successful podcast that you've had for over 4 years. Like, you have done so many things that a lot of people just don't have the courage to do because they're scared of messing up or doing it perfectly. But the amount of success that you had is because of the things that just didn't work out. So I just want to put that out there, like as a lesson for people, because a lot of times it's not about doing it perfectly. It's just about starting and doing it and having faith that, whatever you're going to get out of it is going to aid you in either being successful or helping you in the next venture that you're going into.
I love that. Yeah. An analogy I always like using is riding a bike. Like, I love the analogy you drew earlier, is like, you could get a university degree or you could just go out and do it. And the doing is literally it's exponential learning. Like, I guarantee that someone who read 10 books on like the best bike riding styles and like, this is how you get your pedal speed perfect or whatever, someone who rides a bike for 20 minutes is going to be way better than the person who read 10 books about riding a bike. I promise you. So just doing something, even if you suck at it at first, you're just going to learn so much faster. And yeah, so I guess kind of the next thing that happened for me, I know I kind of hinted at this earlier with the Tim Ferriss stuff. And, speaking of failed businesses and ventures I don't do anymore. So at this time, like after the book tour was over, the things that I was doing was mostly all freelancing. So I'm just kind of skill building at this point. I didn't think of it like that at the time, but looking back, I'm like, I built so many skills from just doing the randomest stuff for people to make money. Like, I was building websites, I was writing email copy, I was running affiliate marketing, I was doing podcast editing, I was doing video editing, I was writing white papers, I was even friggin' delivering Uber Eats on a bicycle. Like, I was doing everything I could to just make ends meet, because I wanted it so bad. I was like, I quit my job, I need to make this work, I'm just gonna hustle and make money any way I can. When things changed for me, the first time I kind of shifted gears and started to go toward what Tim Ferriss called muses in the 4-hour work week, kind of these like more passive income systems where you're putting the money or energy or time in up front and then reaping the benefit of that reward, like I mentioned earlier, was digital products. So my friend Julie had mentioned to me, because we were both just side hustlers. We had podcasts in the personal finance space, and she's like, I just tried this thing called selling printables on Etsy. And I was like, I've never been on Etsy. So what's that? And she's like, basically I create a digital file and then I list it in my Etsy shop. And then, unlike a hat or a basket or some other handmade item, an unlimited number of people can buy a digital product. So she had put up I wanted to say 50 digital products in her Etsy shop. And she didn't spend much time on it either. Like a lot of these, she had just spent an hour or two creating, and she had made $6,000 from that. And she's like, honestly, I spent 50 to 60 hours putting this all together and made $6,000, and I'm still making sales and I'm not working on this anymore. So I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm down. I'll give it a shot. It's better than riding a bike and delivering Uber Eats. So I started creating printables, and for the first few months, honestly, it was terrible. I made no sales. I was a horrible graphic designer. I just didn't know what I was doing. I was just creating products that nobody would ever want, in their entire life. And I'm a lot better now and understand keyword research and buyer intent and stuff. But it wasn't until Valentine's Day, and I was actually riding with a bunch of FinCon people at SkiCon, and my phone was just blowing up in my pocket. And I was expecting a call, and I had the sound on. And if you're an Etsy seller, it's this really annoying cha-ching sound. It's cha-ching, cha-ching. You just sound like you're cocky, like you're getting a bunch of Venmos or something or Cash App. People are like, what's going on in your pocket? I'm like, I think it's Etsy. And so we go into the lodge halfway through, one of the first days. I think this is February 9th or 10th, because I created a bunch of Valentine's Day products. And I had made $100 from 2 or 3 designs. And I was like, oh, lunch is on me. And during the course of that week, I had made $700. And I didn't even have my laptop on me. I wasn't working at all. And it was kind of my first foray to oh my God, this passive income thing that people talk about, that Tim Ferriss wrote about, it's actually real. Up until that point, I just heard people talk about it. And even financial independence, I'm sure you were in this boat. When you first hear about it in the CMA, you're like, that's BS. Why wouldn't everybody be doing this if it's a real thing? And that's what I thought about anything passive income. That's just, that's BS. That's the people standing in front of the Lambos on Instagram. But it's not Lambo money, but I made over $700 in that week during Valentine's Day week. And I didn't work at all on my Etsy shop, and it was amazing. And that's kind of when the light switch flipped for me. It was I need to focus more on this stuff, not on freelance writing and delivering Uber Eats.
Yeah, so you found a product that, does provide passive income. And I think you do a good job of explaining the difference between like these muses, that you were saying. There's certain things where you're trading time for money, hours for dollars, Uber, driving for Uber, all of those kind of things. You have to physically do it to make money as a side hustle, as to where Julie introduced you to this space where, she put maybe a week and a half worth of work into something that is continuing and still continues to generate revenue for her over and over again. And I just want to also emphasize the fact that even if it's just a couple $100 a month, how that can change the trajectory of your path to financial independence or whatever financial goal that you have. It just helps accelerate freeing up money that you don't have to work. I mean, finding money or getting money that you don't physically have to work for is a game changer. And especially if you have a plan and a goal for it, I know you do, Cody, because you're super frugal and you have a plan for all of your dollars. But even when I talk to people about investing, it really only takes a couple $100 a month to change generations and generations of people if, the money is invested intentionally. But a lot of times people are just well, how can I free up that money? How do I get this money? And so there are infinitesimal and unlimited amount of ways that you can earn extra money. But I just think that the digital product space is where it's at right now. It does not take a long time to create digital products. It does not take a lot of time to set up your Etsy store, but you have created a roadmap for people to make it even easier. Can you talk about your printables course that you have?
Yeah, real quick, because I don't get the opportunity to kind of bring financial independence and Etsy together. When I'm on a podcast, sometimes it's just one or the other. They're really interested in becoming an Etsy seller, or they're talking about Path to Fi. But what you just said, So let's give some real numbers and some real scenarios. And, we know the power of compound interest, Nasima. If you sell 3 $5 printables, digital downloads every single day, so $15 a day, you're making about an extra $450 a month. And let's say you're living paycheck to paycheck right now, and you're like, I need money to invest. You invest that $450 every month into a total stock market index fund for the next 35 years, and with an 8% return, you're going to be a millionaire. With selling 3 $5 products a day, and you're not inflating your lifestyle, you're keeping everything the exact same it is right now, that extra $450 a month over the course of 35 years. And of course that could change. Like maybe you start doing something else if you don't want to sell digital products, whatever, but that's what it is. It's $15 a day. And I just think digital products is one of the easiest ways to get there. And so, yeah, I just wanted to bring those two things together.
Yes, I love that example.
It's so crazy. Nobody tells you this stuff, but it's like, if you kind of break it down like that, like becoming a millionaire doesn't have to be that hard. $15 a day invested, like that's probably pretty doable for most people. So, but yeah, we'll get to the printables, of course, because I know you went through it, Nasima, and you said you loved it, and that was awesome feedback, because man, we have just ripped the course apart, re-put it back together. Like every time we get feedback, when we first launched it back in like 2019, because shortly after Julie and I figured this out, we have a bunch of friends in the FinCon and financial independent space, and people are like, what are you selling? Like, how are you making this extra money? How did you make $700 in a week? I'm like, oh, like I'm selling digital products on Etsy. And they're like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And so we got so many, what are you talking about? How can I do the same thing that you're doing? And we're like, let's just kind of throw together a course and see if people are interested in this. And a lot of people were interested, and now we have a whole community of sellers, and we teach them all the mistakes that we made at the beginning. Like I mentioned, I just didn't know anything about keyword research or SEO. I was just creating like random products that I thought people might be interested in. But now we have like a, actually proven model. Like this is how you're going to find products that are successful. This is how many people are searching for that product per month. This is what the competition looks like. This is how you should create your listing pictures. And it's been pretty amazing. I know you're kind of in the community, you've gone through the course, but like some of the success stories, my God, like make me feel like I'm standing still. Like we had a woman who was featured last year in a couple of big media outlets who made $160K on the side with her Etsy shop. Now, I'm not saying that's typical, like most people are aiming for, and that's what we kind of promote. It's like a couple $100 a month, like the $450 a month, like I just mentioned with that math, is life-changing, but people are making $160K with the stuff on the side. So yeah, it's been pretty amazing. It's evolved over the course of the last 3.5 years, but it's just been so rewarding. It's been really awesome to help other people on their financial independence or their side hustle journeys.
Yeah. And what I like about the course is that there's so much support, and it comes in different kind of mediums, depending on what kind of learner you are. I'm a nurse, so you always have to go through like, what is your learning style? So you guys have, live videos, you have calls, you have podcasts dedicated specifically to the printables. The course is great as far as how it's laid out, like super detailed. Also, with the course, like you get all these downloads, and they tell you how to go in and tweak it. And like when I tell you, it literally takes a couple of minutes to go in, add your flair, and, just be ready to open the store and start selling. That's what it takes. And so I think you guys make it super duper easy for anybody at any learning level with any learning style. As a matter of fact, I went through it to see if it was something that my 8-year-old could do, because she's been asking to start a business, and I want her to do something that's more passive and more sustainable than something like babysitting or, selling candy, or those traditional things that, we've all done. But also like that also embraces like what she's really interested in. And so she's really interested in like anime, but like in the world of anime, there's not a lot of Black faces, right? It's Japanese, cartoons. But so she's like, Mommy, I want to create like these Black anime, products and coloring books and things like that. And I was like, oh, that'll be perfect for like a digital product. And, and she was like, oh, I can make money off of that. And I'm like, yeah, girl. And so that's why I went through the course, because I was like, well, how easy is it going to be for my 8-year-old to grasp these things? And I showed it to her and she was like, oh yeah, mommy, I could do that. And so I think it's so approachable for so many people. It's like one of those things. It's like, oh, why? It's like, why not? Like, I don't understand why everybody isn't doing it. And then you'll have those people who say, again, like you talked about, like, well, if it's so easy, why isn't everybody doing it? And it's just because just people won't. And even if everybody was doing it, there still would be space for you. Just like there's a million taco trucks, like it doesn't matter. Like, I think, just to give people like just an idea that, like I said, there's a whole bunch of ways to, grow your income, but everybody is just like, okay, yeah, but how? This is a great how. So I love what you put together.
I think an important piece of that, and I wasn't even going to talk about this because I was going to like hit the financial angle because, I'm financially intentional, but is the creative part. Like it's actually a really fun side hustle too. Like it's, the numbers are great and talking about the $450 a month, retire with a millionaire in 35 years, but like, you don't have this much fun freelance writing. Like when you're creating digital products, the world is your oyster. You can create whatever the heck you want. You can create Black anime characters. You can create invites. You could create cards. You could create like all these really neat and creative little projects and then put them up for sale. And if other people have similar interests to you and they think it's cool as well, you're making money. So it's like, it's basically like drawing on a piece of digital paper and then putting it up for sale for people to buy. And an unlimited number of people can buy that project from you. So it's just like, yeah, not only is it lucrative, it's super fun too. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to actually solve problems too, because there's always these things that you're really, really good at that, people tell you that you're good at, and you really don't have like an outlet for it. You just like, okay, well, this is like really easy. Like I just do it X, Y, and Z. But the whole thing is that you could be making money off of it. And so like one of the things that I like to do is kind of like anytime I see like any kind of problems, I like jot it down. I have it in my notes and I jot it down like this would make a great printable idea. Also, I know a friend, she didn't necessarily take this printables course, but she sells like nursing study guides and she's made almost $2 million as a new grad nurse.
I saw that article.
Doing this. Yes. She's been on the podcast as well, Stephanie. And she's just amazing. And it's just because she has a unique study style that's very efficient, but she also does a lot of marketing around her stuff. So I'm not going to say those results are typical, but she just took something that she was really good at. She solved the problem and she was able to make way more money than she makes in her nursing career. Yet and still, she's still a nurse and she's actually a professor. I'm just saying, like, this is a creative way to act, and it's a way to express your creativity, but at the same time make money. So I'm just gonna give you an idea of like some of the things that I just like jot down. I've just like jotted down, like domestic violence, like check-in sheet, like how to travel, like a travel checklist if you're traveling domestically, a travel checklist if you're traveling internationally, and then from that, like, there's so many ideas, like travel checklist if you're traveling with kids. Travel checklist if you're traveling pregnant, travel checklist if you're traveling with pets. And it kind of goes there. And that's just like a couple of things that I've jotted down. But these are things that, man, like I wish I just had like a go-to, because there's not great resources for that. But like, and then there's print. I mean, you could actually just say travel checklist with traveling with pets, and then it'll be blank. And then you have people fill that out. But just because it's out there, people know that, hey, this is something that I should be looking at. This is something that I could actually use. And so I think it's so many ideas that you can put into these spreadsheets and so many ways that somebody can use it. So I don't ever want people to think, well, oh my God, well, everybody's doing that, so I'm not going to do it. No.
Yeah, there's an unlimited number of ways to like customize stuff. I'm glad you said that, because I know you're asking about the course before, like, and you were talking about the templates in the course. The reason why we have templates, they're things like you just mentioned. It's like a travel checklist, and then we give you a bunch of ideas, and you can go out and make 25 iterations of a travel checklist. And even if there's let's say there's 10 people a month searching for like travel checklists for fill in the blank, if you could even get 1 or 2 or 3 of those people per month and you're selling that thing for $10, like, hey, I'd be happy with an extra $30. Like it really adds up. So like, yeah, it doesn't, some people will be like, oh, you know, like, why would you even bother selling a $5 or $10 printable? It's like, well, if you're selling a couple hundred of those a month, like that really adds up. It can be a couple hundred, couple $1,000s, and that can really change someone's financial situation. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I love it too. And so I just think it's a great option for somebody. But like on the other side, on the financial independence side, what has like creating this course and the things like, so you have your Etsy store, but you also create a course, and you also have an amazing affiliate program where where other people help you promote this course. Where has that taken you on your financial independence journey, even though you're technically already financially independent?
Yeah, I mean, all of the things you just mentioned have continued to grow. So my own Etsy shop, I'm now selling stuff on Shopify as well. We have like a whole template store that's like part of the Gold City Ventures brand. The course itself has now grown to over 10,000 students, which is absolutely insane. Like,
yeah, I was going to say that. It's a lot of people in this course. Like, yeah. So that speaks to the success of it. Yeah.
And I mean, the only reason it's grown, quite frankly, like, you know, if you had an okay course, you could only pull the wool over people's eyes for so long. Like, the only reason it's been successful is because we put like our hearts and soul into this. If we didn't have the testimonials, we didn't have people that were crushing it on the side and, you know, getting featured in big media, like it wouldn't continue to grow like the kind of the wildfire it's been, which has just been, like I said, super rewarding to be able to help people. So yeah, for me personally, I mean, I've been able to increase my income. That's not the only thing I do, but it's a big portion of my day. Like, a lot of it is focused on Gold City Ventures, and whether it's optimizing like the sales side of things or just revamping the course, we're constantly having to re-record videos when software changes its interface or whatever. So yeah, always doing a lot of back-end work on that, but it's allowed me to, well, one, it's helped me reach financial independence, and you know, I'm reinvesting a lot of the money that I'm making now. Like, I'm still fairly frugal. I'm definitely less frugal than I was when, like, straight out of college, when I was literally spending only $1,200 a month. But I haven't like really had any crazy lifestyle creep. I'm still actually driving the same car I was then. I'm house hacking, so my housing is paid for, and I've been able to buy rental properties with the money I'm making, and it's just kind of made my financial independence that much sweeter. I've been able to kind of increase my cash flow and increase that nest egg that I've been investing in. So yeah, it's been amazing. It's pretty surreal, honestly, to see, like, to rewind, and if I were to talk myself like even 4 years ago to where I am now, it's night and day. But it's just because, and I just want to say this, there's a lot of things that I've done that have failed, like whether it was in that business that we're talking about, Gold City Ventures, the printables and digital products business, but like, I've failed with real estate, I've failed with other business ventures. I've been failing all the way through. So it's not like I just discovered a magic side hustle, became a millionaire, retired, and hit financial independence. It's like, no, like, I'm constantly trying new things, constantly failing, getting kicked down, getting back up, trying the next thing. And yeah, this is just one of the things that happened to hit, but I wouldn't have got here if I didn't try a million things before it and land here.
It's called failing forward.
Yeah, well, yeah, failing forward, yeah.
Yes, and it's something that people should aspire to do. But I want to talk about the other half of Gold City Ventures. So Julie, just to give you some perspective on how possible this is for so many people, like, Julie's like crushing it, like, only, you know, and just on her Etsy side, you know, and she started like only doing it a couple hours a week, transitioning. I know she did it through having a baby, a major move, like not working for a while, and was able to, you know, accumulate enough income to help out with the household expenses. And so like, that was a major thing for her, because, you know, like, when you have a baby or go through all these transitions, it's kind of like you're in a vulnerable position, right? And for her, I know that loss of, you know, having a job and so much control over your life, it can be daunting for people. So to have an income source like this, where there's not a lot of work, she can still be there for her daughter, still be there for her family. I think like it's something that a lot of people would aspire to do. And so I just want to, you know, share a little bit of Julie's story, because I think that, you know, a lot of people can see themselves in that position as well.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, some people resonate with me and my story. Some people resonate with her. Like, in 20, was it 2020? Yeah, 2020, she moved across the country. Like she drove from Seattle to basically Boston and took it slow. Like she was on the road for a couple months. She took 6 months off from her Etsy shop and she was still averaging, I think, $1,200 or $1,500 a month without touching it. Like she actually wasn't doing anything. She couldn't. She wasn't working, and her daughter was like hot off the press. So I mean, it was, yeah, she was just like a working mom who didn't have much free time, and that's a big kind of portion of the people who come into our course, into our community. There are those working moms who like don't have much free time. Maybe they have a couple hours that they can scrounge together every week, 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, but that's all it takes. Like it's getting the products up in your shop online. And then once they're up there, if they're a successful product that people want to buy, like you start making money, and sometimes you'll wake up to notifications and you're like, wow, I made $20 while I was sleeping last night. That's amazing. And then there's, other people who kind of resonate more with my stories. Like I don't have any kids yet. I love to travel. And I know you mentioned this earlier, Nasima, like last year, I think I probably spent 3 or 4 months out of the year traveling. Like I was in Europe for over a month. I was in Hawaii for 6 weeks. I was traveling all around, and I was able to do this side hustle on my own time, check in every once in a while, put new products in my shop, but it was like, it's time zone agnostic, and I could work on it when I wanted to, which is just like super cool. And that's the life that I want right at this point, at this stage of my life anyway.
And since, you're not working technically, which you're always
I
working.
still work hard.
I know, right? But how do you fund all this travel?
I mean, it's income from digital products. It's income from, I make money from my podcast. It's income from courses, from community, did some consulting before. Yeah. So I'm just dipping into some of those savings to afford those travel. And the cool thing is like I mentioned, I'm house hacking. So
yes,
well, like I'm not paying for housing while I'm home. So it's like, when I go travel, it's not like now I'm doubling up. Now I'm double dipping. I'm paying my mortgage and I'm paying for the Airbnb that we're staying in. It's like, no, we just get up and go. And then we just have this like Airbnb expense for the next couple of weeks while we're traveling. So it's honestly more affordable than most people think. Like I think most people think of travel and they think of going to Hawaii for 7 days and spending 10 grand. Like that's like the traditional American vacation. You just like spend as much as you possibly can in a week period and drink as much as you can, eat horribly, and then come back and hate your life, and you're like, oh my god, like I can't believe I'm. But there's other ways to travel. Like I know some people who they quit, they hit financial independence, they make like $30,000 to $40,000 a year, which it's not high income, and they travel for like 6+ months out of the year because they're just traveling cheap and they're doing slow travel, and they go somewhere, they get like an Airbnb for a couple months, they're buying their groceries, they're doing like cheap activities. They're not doing the $800 scuba dive tour off the cruise ship or whatever. So there's a lot of ways to travel smarter, I think, than people are led to believe. Like just too many people think like, they'll ask me like, Cody, doesn't it cost you like 200 grand to travel that much? It's like, no, like even though I'm doing really well financially now, like I'm still, the Airbnbs we stayed in Europe this past May, I think we probably ended up spending like 2,500 total across 4 countries, staying in Portugal, southern France, and Italy. And it was an amazing trip. And, the food's not that expensive either if you're not eating out at like crazy 5-star restaurants every night. And so, yeah, I mean, get out there if you can. If you have a remote job, get out there and travel, especially if you can, yes, because you're going to regret not doing it later in life.
And I think two really important things is like slow travel actually allows you to actually see the countries and explore and not just do all the touristy things. Mm-hmm. And that's what's important, because I really feel like understanding different countries and cultures and history is like where it's at. That's really how you expand like what like is expand your knowledge base. But also the biggest thing for me is that your housing costs, which is usually, the biggest chunk of people's expenses, are covered because you house hack. And we talk about house hacking on the podcast, but I just want to reiterate, like house hacking is when you are able to cover some or all, or even make a profit from your housing costs, because you are either sharing the house. Like for me, I rent out a room to a nurse, or you have a multifamily or a multi-unit building like a duplex, triplex, and you're renting out those places, and the rent that comes in covers your portion or all, or even you're able to make a profit off of that rent. And so if people aren't doing that, I think that's the ultimate like hack to life, especially if you're younger. Like, I wish I would have known about that younger. Yes, I have roommates and all of that kind of stuff, but I wasn't optimizing in the way that, you know, I could have bought a place earlier on and done that and had my housing costs covered. And that frees up so much money to do the things that you're really passionate about. So I'm a strong advocate for house hacking.
I'll give your listeners a next level hack that some of my friends do. We've labeled it geohacking, where basically you rent out your primary residence on Airbnb and then you go and travel somewhere that's significantly cheaper. So like my co-host of my podcast, Justin, he has a house in Austin, Texas. He got it all Airbnb ready. He could go and get an Airbnb in Costa Rica, he was talking about, for $1,500 for the entire month on the beach. And he could rent out his house in Austin during South by Southwest and ACL, Austin City Limits, for $10,000 revenue that month.
Yes.
So he's now that the delta between what he's making from Airbnb profits on his place and what he's paying for an Airbnb in Costa Rica is $8,500. Like, I know not everybody's going to do that, but for the few whose like mind just blew and the light bulb went off, like, it is such a crazy hack. And if you're someone who's like, I've always wanted to travel, but I can't figure it out. Maybe you got the McMansion and you're regretting it. You could still make use of it. You could get that thing Airbnb ready, even lock the master bedroom if you really want to, put all your valuables in there, and then like rent it out, and you could make a pretty penny.
And you know what? Actually, that is that's my solution, because I have a nice 4-bedroom house. And it's like, I want to travel with my kids, but it was like this thing of like, should I sell my house or should I keep my house? And I was just like, I have 3 bedrooms. Like, all I have to do is lock everything, move all my kids' stuff into my bedroom, and rent out all these rooms, cover all my cost. You know, so it just doesn't make any sense. And I'm reluctant to sell my house because I have such a cheap interest rate. So I'm like, I will never get that again. But we do want to do some months in, ironically, Costa Rica. So I'm just like,
look at that.
You know, like, that's my solution. And so, yeah, I love that next level hack.
I had no idea you were doing that. Like, what a perfect way to, I had no idea. Yeah. Geohacking. You're doing it.
Yes, I am. Or I plan to, once next baby pops out.
Perfect.
Well, anyway, Cody, let the people know how they can get in contact with you, how they can access the Etsy course. I mean, the printables course, let's just call it what it is, because you can do it on multiple platforms. And then, like, what's next for you?
Well, I will give your listeners an ebook that we typically sell, but I'll give you the special link so they can go grab it in the podcast show notes or wherever this is going to be. And that's just special for your audience. And then if you like listening to podcasts, you can hear all about financial independence on the Financial Independence Show, or the FI Show for short, wherever you listen to podcasts. And we're there every week talking make money, save money, retire early, investing, all the good stuff that you hear in this podcast as well. So
definitely an amazing podcast that I have listened to for years as well. So
check out
highly
Nasima.
Recommend it.
Check out Nasima's episode to start, and then you'll get addicted, and then you can just crush the whole library.
Right. All right. Well, it's been amazing, Cody. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Cool.